Hi there. Oh, I forgot my crown. Okay, so I forgot my crown. So thanks for joining me this morning. I see that my microphone's working and someone's already watching. Hi, Shannon. Okay, so it says it's just you and me. I'm going to just breathe. I hope that's okay. Whew. I'm excited about this morning. We're going to be talking about Beltane, one of the sexiest festivals that pagans have. Pour myself some hot chai. I got my little table set up here. I got my teacup and my teapot. I love my teapot. I got this at my best friend's bridal shower. She had an Alice in Wonder tea party for her bridal shower. It was so much fun. And I got to keep that one. So, all right, we got a couple of minutes before the scheduled time. I am new to live. I'm new to YouTube, basically. So I appreciate everybody's patience as we go through this. You can chat with me. I can see my little chat thing here if you want to ask questions. And I will be more than happy to help out with that. Let's see. All right. Does anybody know if there's a way to caption? The traditional meaning of Beltane. The traditional meaning of Beltane is when the earth starts coming back to life from the spring times. So we're celebrating that the Earth Mother Earth, has come back to life by giving us flowers and beauty, and the trees are coming alive, and the colors with the pollens that are coming out. The flowers on the dogwoods and the cherry trees. It's to symbolize the coming again of the fertilization. Now, in the old religion, and when I'm talking about the old religion, I'm actually speaking to like way back before Christianity. Okay, thank you. So, so this is way before Christianity. And if you think about how the seasons roll with the springtime, now you know that the earth is warming up. She's becoming alive again because she's been cold. So for Beltane, what they used to do was build huge bale fires, one beside the other. And then what happens is they would take their livestock and they themselves would jump between those fires. And it's cleansing, and it was asking for fertility, and that fertility being of the land, of the livestock, of the family. And so Beltane is also celebrated with Maypole Dancing. Now, I don't know when that came out, but I know that it's been done for forever. In fact, the Catholic Church had so many problems getting rid of it, they actually started doing it and calling it May Day. And that is why in the Catholic religion on May Day, you give flowers to those you love. And again, you still dance the maypole for that fertility. Now, it's grown, it's morphed itself, it has changed some. One thing that the old religion was very clear of is this was the marriage of the god and the goddess. This is where they consummate their relationship. So it is a very sexual ritual. It can be. I've seen it done very family oriented, and I've seen it done not family oriented. And both were a lot of fun. The hole in the ground that the maypole is put in is referred to as the yoni. The yoni symbolizes the feminine sexuality. So, I'm assuming everybody knows what that means. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right? Okay. So, the yoni is dug by the women or people who are spiritually identify as a feminine being. Okay. So, with the feminine being, what we do is the women dig the hole and we decorate the yoni. This is her honeymoon. She wants to look beautiful. I mean, think about it. You know, what do you get at bridal showers? You get lingerie and all this beautiful stuff, right? So it's basically celebrating the feminine divine, the beauty of the yoni. Then you have the pole, which is the maypole, which you will attach the ribbons to. But when it comes towards the yoni, okay, that pole is cut down and it is decorated and carved on by the men and or those who identify with masculine energy. Those are what their fertility goal is for the year, or what they're what they're asking of the god. Just as when the women are digging the yoni and decorating the yoni, we are beautifying, we are taking care of the goddess, getting her ready for her time with her husband or partner. And so the men will bring in the pole and then they set it down. Now, most of the ones that I have seen, this is done at all of the Beltanes I've gone to, and I've gone to several different groups that do them. And it's called Dancing of the Pole. And it's not the Maypole Dancing, it's Dancing of the Pole. The difference is the Maypole is not completely erect, okay? So basically it is flaccid, all right? So we're going to dance over the pole and we're going to make it hard, so to speak. Again, erect, okay? So when that's all done and everyone has gotten a chance that wants to dance the pole, regardless of their sexuality, then when that's all done, the ribbons are connected to it. Sometimes the ribbons are connected before the dancing over top of it. Sometimes they're put on after. It depends on how the group wants to do it. I've seen it both ways. Then the gentlemen, the males, pick up and take it over to the hole. And it gets very lewd and very graphic in some groups, and some groups not so much. But remember, this is a sexuality, a fertility rite. So depending on how the group is, how the group dynamic is, or the demographic or age of those allowed to attend, okay? So once that's up, then the women help push all of the dirt against the pole that is now standing up. And then usually the king and queen are tied to the pole. Now, what are the king and queen, you ask? The queen has been chosen by the previous queen, by the goddess. This is usually done by a lottery or a draw of some kind. The previous queen, or what we call a Mayma, they will come up with the ritual to pass on the goddess. And that is why it is a lottery. Nobody knows who's going to be chosen. I've seen it done with tarot decks. I am a Mayma, which means I am a previous queen. I was the queen of a group that has a garden, a very beautiful garden. And so when I was chosen, I got a stone, I believe. Yes, it was a stone. I still have it in my magic stuff. And the year that I gave my queenship to someone else, I did use tarot. So it depends on how it goes. The queen serves her community for a year and a day. And that year and a day can be whatever it is that your goal is, but you are serving the community. So for my community's goal, I was going to work on bringing the community back together. Unfortunately, that did not. There were a lot of lessons in it. I can't say it didn't go poorly, but there were a lot of lessons in it. And that's part of doing this work, is you will be spiritually pulled and tested at different things that you are doing at that time. So you have to be willing to step forward for this lottery. It's not just a oop, or a lightning bolt. Let's go back to the Maypole. The queen will choose her consort for that year and a day, which means they will work together for that community. With that is why they are put to the Maypole, to help with the fertility that is drawn from the earth and from what will be the energy building of the dancing of the Maypole itself. So they're tied to the Maypole. Then the Maypole is danced. At some point, I have seen some where the king and queen are completely tied into the Maypole. I've seen some where when it gets down low enough, the king and queen are taking off of the pole, and then the dancing is done. Once that's done, it's usually just, it's a very big festival of fertility. So you're going to be asking for abundance, whether that be with your farming, with your home, with your business, whatever that is. Today is Beltane, Blessed Beltane. And this Beltane came with a amazing new moon and solar eclipse at the same time, as well as Pluto going into retrograde, and we're in the shadow of Mercury in retrograde. What does that mean? What that means is we're going to be looking at our old stuff. We're going to be saying, okay, could I have changed that? No, not really. Okay, well then I need to let it go. It no longer serves me. And a lot of those things that are coming up are stuff that are from way back when. For myself personally, it's been from my teenage years. Well, that was stupid. No, that was a dumb decision, but I learned something from it. So it's not really stupid then, right? So with the Beltane energy, it's also sexual. So you will find that if you have a partner, or even if you don't have a partner, that your drive goes up a little bit. Mine goes up exponentially because I'm a Leo and I'm a fire sign, so that just ignites it even more. For some people, it makes them go, most fire signs are very amorous at this time of year. And the Beltane energy lasts for like a week and a half. So Beltane can be spread out. Like, for example, in Portland, Oregon here, there are several Beltanes, and they're all done in different times and different weekends, so that they try not to cross over onto each other. There's some that are festivals that are, 3, 4, 5 days. There are some that are just one day, depending on what group you're looking for. Is there any questions at all? All right. So, my name is Anya, and I do readings, psychic readings. I offer tarot and crystal ball readings as well. There's my little commercial while I was waiting for my fingers. This weather, goodness. How can you celebrate if you're on your own? Oh my God, that's a really great question. If you're on your own, the best way to celebrate, I have a group in Facebook called Serum Witchery, and it's a private group where we give out ideas of what you can do. You can also do Google. I tell my students all the time, Google is your best friend. Use it, use it, use it, use it. But if you Google solitary Beltane rituals or Beltane rituals for one, I did post one that also could involve the children if you wanted to. And it was using a mason jar and a stick, and then you put little ribbons on it. In fact, one of the followers in Serum Witchery did that and put it on their altar. And as the ribbons came down, they put little fairies on it so that it looks like the fairies are dancing the maypole. That way you can bring that energy in. One thing, too, is once the Beltane pole is danced, normally it is taken out. So what happens is we actually go whenever it is agreed upon, usually it's the next day, and we take the Beltane pole down, and then it is chopped up into pieces, and anyone who wants can take a piece of their Beltane pole home with them. When we were king and queen, we actually took home a piece of ours with the ribbons still wrapped around it. And we still have it to this day. We haven't been able to burn it yet, but I'm hoping to be able to burn it this Yule. And that's usually what it was used for, was the Yule log. A lot of people ask, when we take down trees, do we take live or dead? I have found in the various Beltanes that I've attended that they all prefer to use a already downed tree. We do that because we feel that harm ye none, do what you will. And we also believe that we're stewards of the earth. And if that tree is there and flourishing and doing well, we'd rather use the corpse of a tree and use that. But we also have to make sure it's stable, because when you're dancing around it, you don't want the pole to snap or break or fall and hurt somebody. The height also depends on how many people you have. If you have a small group, you don't have to have as tall as a pole. When you have a lot of people, it's got to be a much taller pole, so you have to know stability. You've got to have an engineer help you with those. But it's a lot of fun, actually, to find it. If you're by yourself, also, another thing you can do is just do a Beltane meditation, where in your meditation you find a group that is doing a maypole dance and they invite you to join them. That is a really fun Beltane ritual. I've actually done that before. So you could do something along those lines. There are some breads, like hot cross buns, are more for Ostara, but I do know people who bring those to Beltane festivals. Anything that is spring, very spring, like, irises, of course, because right now irises are in bloom. Okay, any of the flowers that are in bloom, you can put on your altar. You can thank the earth for this bounty. And, some people, when they do pick flowers or something like that, first of all, do your research. Please download an app that tells you what kind of flower it is. There are flowers out there, such as a trillium, that if you pick it, you can possibly kill the plant. They're beautiful. They look like a star. They usually have 3 or 4 petals, usually 3, which is why they're called trillium. But the thing is if you pick them, it can take like 5 to 7 years for them to bloom again. It could kill it. There are some varieties like a pink trillium that if you pick the flower at the wrong time, you can kill the plant, and they're so endangered. So if you ever see a beautiful 3-prong flower, please take a picture, leave the flower. Okay? So those kind of things a picture of the trillium can be put on your altar. Roses. Right now, roses are starting to come more into bloom because it's starting to get warmer in some climates. Stuff like that. If you have a partner, maybe going out on a date, romance. The more experienced witches also use Beltane for sex magic. And that's a whole nother try and chat. Because that can go adultish very quickly. So, I giggle like a 12-year-old, sorry. So, but that's what Beltane's all about, is laughing, giggling. If you can find somebody just to hang out with. Much further, yes, much further. So yeah, it's one of those things where, you're really in a place where you can feel amorous more so than normal, if that makes sense. So I know we have another person watching. I don't know who they are, but if you'd like to ask any questions, I'm watching my chat over here. So we're having a chai and chat. We've been talking about Beltane and the energy of Beltane, how it started. Oh, Sekhmet. This is my patron goddess, Sekhmet. This is a beautiful Bet's Galilean Illusions piece. And Karen painted it, she told me. She events at a lot of the festivals and a lot of the events here in the Portland metro area, as well as other events as well, I believe. But yes, this is Sekhmet, so you will see her for our chai and chats in one incarnation or another. Does Beltane have any effect on the black moon and moon water? Oh, that's a great question. Yes. What it's going to do is it's going to give it a lot of oomph, okay? So think about what the energy is behind the black moon and the eclipse. So for example, I had water out last night. That water will be used for people who are in extreme grief. Okay. If I'm going to make a gem elixir for someone that is going to help them to combat with depression and grief or anxiety, I'm going to add that in because that's going to help them to let go of the stuff that no longer serves them. So that isn't a part of it anymore. I hope that makes sense. So anytime you put out water to charge, whether it be a new moon or a full moon, you really have to know where all those other celestial things are. Like, for example, I write it on my gallon in Sharpie. So, for example, this gallon will have all the symbols for what's going on it so I can glance at it and look. The alchemical symbols of the planets and stuff can be easily found on Google. This is a great way to plug. This fall, I will be starting a witchcraft class, and it will be a witchcraft class. So we'll go into those and you would learn those in those class, but you can also Google them and find them there. Seems like an unusually It seems like an unusually astrological night last night. Oh yeah, baby, it was. It's been affecting me because of the solar eclipse. I'm a Leo. I'm ruled by the sun. So the fact that it was eclipsed really hit me hard. I've been exhausted. The black moon, the fact that we have 2 new moons in 1 month. And here's another thing. This is the second black moon that we've had this year. This is the second month that it's happened, which is not unusual. It does happen in a cycle. And that's because we changed our calendars up. When we were following the moon, those 13s that would happen in the 13th month that we got rid of and added those 30, 31 days to. That is a whole nother chai and chat. But yes, there's also Pluto in retrograde. Pluto in retrograde is going to make you think of your own mortality. It is going to cause you to really look deep down inside, shadow work. You're in the shadow of Mercury in retrograde right now, so we're already like, the reason I was like, I started like almost 4 minutes early, then the reason is because, okay, I'm going to turn on my computer really early because we're in the shadow. You don't know if it's going to work right or not. So give yourself that little bit of extra time. So yeah, there's a couple of things going on right now that is making it more of a hit to the energetic system. These changes have all been foretold by the Mayan predictions from 2012. That's a whole nother chai and chat. With that said, this is the evolution they were talking about. We're actually becoming more consciously aware of the energetic vibrations and how they're impacting us. This is the time to use your energy and utilize the tools that you have in your toolbox so that you can make that energy so it either washes over you with no effect, or you have your bubble of protection or your own protective, amulets. This is my key. I myself am taking a magic class this year. And this key is my amulet for a year and a day. And I carry it with me all the time. So that for me is, I can call on that to add protection to my circle if I feel like I'm being bombarded too much. Another little commercial for Saren Witchery. I have potions that can help with all of this. I have Kayam and Cocoon of Comfort, which are actual protective blends. I have Clarity, which I specifically made for Mercury in retrograde, but also helps people when they have a lot of brain fog. Brain fog can actually happen for any kind of retrograde. The Pluto in retrograde also will cause you to be a little foggy brain because you're trying, all of the old stuff is being brought up. So you have to like kind of, okay, stop. I'm not thinking about the past right now. I'm thinking about this. I'll deal with that later. Clarity can help you to do that and detach from it and be more clear-minded. You can also use certain stones. Again, Google best friend in the world. There's also some great books out there that I can't recommend enough. I think it's called the Witchcraft Correspondence Book. Sandra Keynes writes it, I believe, Kynes. I use it every day at work. I use it for my spells. I use it for everything. If I need information so that I can do research, I go to that first, and then I break that down and go elsewhere for it. So we've gotten a little bit off of Beltane here. Also, that water can also have that sexual energy. Now, you can use it to, if you're having problems with being intimate, you could use it to help with that. However, you can also transmute that into a passion so that it can give you the passion to overcome an obstacle. It can help you find your passion. Does that make sense at all, Patty? There we go. Okay. So we've been going for 20 minutes. This is much different than on Zoom because I don't have people and I can't see hands, and so I appreciate your patience while I'm adjusting to this. Oh yeah. Patty says, I figured this was my one chance to get water like this. No joke. Yes. And it is it's going to be very transformative. It is. You can put it in your coffee. I have a friend who's on Instagram, Facebook with me. Her name is Crone's Corner. And she actually took my class that I'm currently in a year ago. And she actually recorded on TikTok and I believe Facebook. I'm not sure. You have to look at her page. But she actually recorded how the moon water that she put in her coffee actually helped her to connect with different things in that energetic water she had collected for the month or for that moon, be it new moon, full moon, didn't matter. So, but yeah, Sabbats, which are our big holidays, which usually happen about every 6 weeks and marks the changing of the seasons. Those Sabbats are always great times to charge your waters. Summer solstice is one of the few times that I find most people will charge their water by the sun because, again, you're looking for that warmth, the summery, the sun. Because, you know, again, you wouldn't charge a moonstone in the sun and you wouldn't charge a sunstone in the moon because it just conflicts with each other. So I hope that makes sense. So are there any other questions I can answer? Remember to open your shoulders. All right. Well, again, my name's Anya. I'm located, I have a brick and mortar located in Beaverton, Oregon. I do in fact offer distance readings and distance Reiki sessions. Also distance consultations for gem elixirs as well as any potion consultation. I do customized potions. If you'd like to contact me, you can visit my website, which is below, I guess. I don't know. I'm still new to this. I'm figuring it out. I'll know where to point soon. My VA is really wonderful, and she will help me to know where to point. So like and subscribe. I hope you guys have had fun with me this morning. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And happy Beltane, and we'll see you guys at our next one.